So, the 9 great chaos clans of old. Who are they? What are they? What's the deal with that? And their relation with the apocalypse beings? Well, originally, during the era of the Primarchs, they were the 9 groups, clans, that got together and formed the Chaos, what was known as the Chaos Accords. Think of it as here is the settlement or document that binds who we are, what we do for each of the 9 clans and limits their responsibilities, their authority in different areas and all that. Who limiting as well as powers, and basically like, here's what our goal is, and recognized by the other clans as well. You've got different purposes that each of them fill, and it also goes into what that purpose is, what their mandate is, etc., etc. And the overall mandate of all the clans as a whole working together. Which the basic goal of the 9 great clans of old is promote a good life for conjurers to not be feared, prevent conjurers from becoming tyrants, and slaying of chaos beasts. Chaos beasts are basically animals that somehow got the ability to instinctively conjure chaos energy, and because they cannot consciously conjure it, they end up doing it on a much greater scale of destruction and devastation, and are basically mini apocalypses. They are categories from Category 1, which is the weakest, to Category 10, which is the strongest. And you should be warned, they do not benefit anyone. One is Chaos Beast could potentially wipe out all life on the entire planet if left unchecked. So this is a big, serious issue that people don't want to deal with. For obvious reasons. But because of that, you have many people who are working hard to protect and keep it safe. Originally, the 9 Chaos Clans of Old were founded by the 9 Primarchs, or original apocalypse beings. They were the leaders and the heads of these clans, and have set it up so that with the Chaos Accords, they will always have the 9 apocalypse beings as the heads. Each clan has its own little goal, and they are ranked based on their contributions to their overall mandate, and how they contribute as a whole to the goals of all 9 Chaos clans as well. So, for example, the scientists, knowledge researchers of the Shura clan, they're very much about learning and understanding chaos energy, chaos beasts, and all of that. If they're required to be ranked based off the ability to fight or kill chaos beasts, they would probably be pretty weak compared to, say, anyone else, because they're a bunch of scientists. They're not equipped for fighting, for the most part. But what they are good at is research and gaining knowledge, and giving that knowledge to the other clans, so that those clans then have a better chance of killing it. If you can more accurately and quicker figure out what type of category this chaos beast is, you can send a more appropriate squad, better prepared, to deal with it with less casualties. And that is valuable in and of itself. Having people who are good and able to do it without losing them is very crucial to survival. Then you've also got the Shura clan. They are more like explorers. They like to go out, explore, learn new planets, new dimensions, new areas. They are very much your scouts, so when they try and find chaos beasts sooner, look at what's going on, what's affecting things, where are they coming from. Oh, new one spotted, get help quick. They're on that. They're your scouts to go and deal with it. They've got a decent bit of fighters as a result with them for defense because you never know what you're going to get into. So they're a very all-around exploratory group. But that's their goal. Then you have the Gungi clan, which is basically the spies of the 9 Great Chaos Clans of old. Their job is to make sure no one's withholding information from, like, if a government, for example, is trying to make chaos beasts behind the scenes, they're the ones who would go and figure that out and then sabotage that project so that it can't happen, because chaos beasts are a functional weapon of war and very tempting for those in power to use. You really don't want that, though, because again, the sheer destructive possibility of just accidentally spooking it is so dangerous, and it is outlawed by the Oblivion Alliance as a result. You've also got the Sharingo clan, which is about making equipment specially designed with chaos energy imbued in it. So it's kind of artifacing with magic is the best way to describe it. They are making specialized items to be used with chaos energy alongside the Shura clan. But they're working on crafting it in a much bigger way. The Shunki clan is the next of the 9, and they're focused on sealing. So their whole thing is, okay, we don't have the ability to do this right now. We need to prevent it from causing any further harm and just limit its harm right now until we can come back and actually deal with it. Let's seal it, lock it down, prevent it from doing things until we are able to deal with it. This thing's bigger than we can deal with right now. Let's seal it away until we can actually deal with it. And during the age of the the 9 great, the age of the Primarchs, that was very crucial. As the thing that all 9 Primarchs died to in the same fight against what was known as the original Chaos Beast. Older than anything else that ever existed, already at that time, still existing to modern day times. They were not able to defeat it, and they sacrificed themselves to basically seal it away so it's not able to continue gaining its strength as it had been for millennia prior. In reality, it's actually a T-Rex that, from Earth that became a Chaos Beast, and its physical body does not exist anymore, so it's what's called an undead Chaos Beast, because it's lived so long that its physical body of the beast has gone away and just rotted and is dead. It's no longer living. It is just the pure willpower of the chaos energy forming this thing's body that you see. And continuing its existence on long after it should have passed. So very, very dangerous, very skilled. These undead chaos beasts usually are much harder to kill because you don't have a physical body. You have to deal with the chaos energy itself. And they can range from the various categories, but when you get an undead one, it's always much harder to do, and it takes a different approach than a living one, where if you can get lucky enough to get a killing blow on the living chaos beast, you kill it. It's dead. You just gotta make sure it doesn't have any chaos energy conjuration happening that destroys others as you do it. And that's the main concern there. But with this, you don't have a physical body kill. You've got to deal with the energy itself. And it's much harder to fight as a result. The basic warriors of the 9 Great Chaos Clans of old are from the Hunkara clan. They're your basic fighters. They're your vanguard. They are your typical. Their purpose is to go and fight down individual chaos beings who are tyrants. They deal with the typical fighting aspects of the chaos beasts usually. Various things like that. They're your go-to fighting force, generally speaking. The Rokugan clan, then, however, is all about your communication between the 9 great chaos clans of old. They're your messengers. They make sure information can be passed quickly and efficiently. When a chaos summit or meeting of all 9 great chaos, 9 apocalypse beings happens, they're the clan responsible for finding each of the other clans to say, hey, chaos summit has been called, send the apocalypse beings and representatives, blah blah blah, those appropriate. Here's where we're meeting, blah, all that details is sent through them. They are in charge of making sure communication between clans continues on. That's their whole shit. Which, even in like a smaller instance, you could use them and, with dealing with the chaos beasts, like, oh, okay, who's dealing with this chaos beast that popped up, or that one. Coordinating information on the battlefield while fighting chaos beasts or other things when necessary. All of that goes under them. They are very skilled at it, and that is their specialty. The Mythologic clan is the largest of all 9 clans, however. They are, like I said, they have the most members. They are your face of the, the 9 great chaos clans of old, so to speak. They're trying to make sure they're a constant, in-your-face reminder that these conjurers exist, but that they're your friends, your allies. They're not here to hurt you. They're making it common. Their whole goal is to say, hey, look, we exist. We're here. We're your friends. We're your neighbors. We're your family sometimes. We're simply trying to exist. We have these abilities. They can benefit you even if you're not able to conjure. We're not tyrants. We're not going to put up with tyrants. They're actively working to make peace. And that's so they're kind of like the face of diplomats or along that line. The strongest Ezhune-Mortal of the modern era is Zago of the Mystical Council of Oblivion. He's a Minotaur, and he is the strongest Ezhune-Mortal. He also happens to be a member of the Mythologic clan. He's a very high-ranking position in the Oblivion Alliance because he is one of 9 council members who basically who run the entirety of the Oblivion Hunter Guides, which are the Oblivion Alliance's elite. They're their official, conjurers of chaos for opening portals, transporting diplomats, giving tours, and letting them go through, escorting diplomats so they have a conjurer who can do so, killing chaos beasts as they find them, going to war and actually fighting whenever needed. If a chaos individual starts going crazy, when criminals run through dimensions and use the powers to flee the consequences and the law, they're the ones who are sent to hunt them down and make sure that they go through trial. And once convicted, they do not escape from prison. If they escape from prison, they go down and they will hunt them down and basically be a bounty hunter, so to speak, to recapture these convicted felons. Generally speaking, the common view is if you are running from the law when you're a conjurer, it's better just to wait for the trial to be over because it looks so much worse just trying to run. Because you're not convicted yet. There's it is very similar to the concept of innocent until proven guilty. And there is no reason to fear in the vast majority of them actually going through trial. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, it's annoying, it's expensive, but again, there are things in place to help a lot of it. Much like the U.S. has public defenders, the Blue Alliance has a similar concept, except much better staffed. They have a special branch even for those who are able to conjure chaos energy, just to help out. That's a special entire division of it that only works with those who are able to conjure. Because they want to make sure they don't flee. They got that representation. They're trying to prevent it in advance, and there's no reason to. But a lot of the times you would have, them doing that, and Zago has to be in charge of this whole thing as one of the 9 top dogs in charge of it, who runs it. Ironically, his right-hand assistant is Zaiji of the Vitonian Empire. A Vitonian, again, the elves of my world, but they breathe out oxygen and breathe in carbon dioxide versus us breathing out carbon dioxide and breathing in oxygen for humans. Long, 20 years, whole shebang. He is actually the head of the Shura clan, so he's an apocalypse being. Not many people know that he's actually the head of the Shura clan, or that he's an apocalypse being in that. It's, if you know, you know. If you need to know, you know. Ironically, Zago does not know. And Zaiji does not know that Zago is a part of the mythologic clan either. It never come up, it's not relevant to the job, so it kind of stays out of the thing, for the most part. But that kind of thing you'll see occasionally, where there'll be a member of a clan, and you don't even realize they're part of it. It doesn't matter. They're doing their thing. And as a result, yeah, Zago does things behind the scenes to make sure that, the clans are not abusing their power, but they're also not being suppressed either, necessarily because they are needed. And he's a very high-ranking member of the Mythologic clan as well.